Hi Taurus, this reading is for anyone who identifies as or is very interested in a Taurus at this time during May 2019. Happy birthday again, Taurians. We've got the Ace of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. And actually we're going to do two readings for you today. This is where you get your extra happy birthday message, Taurians. So we'll do a general reading for you first, and then we'll do one that's more specifically concentrated on your love life. Again, during May 2019. Nine of Cups reversed. First card out for your general reading, Taurians. The Knight of Fire immediately after that. Knight of Wands. The Strength card in the root of the situation. The more distant past of the situation. Recent past, we have some mourning, some loss, the Five of Cups. That may be why currently, Taurians, you're either not engaging in self-love and self-care to the extent that you should be and need to and clearly were in the more distant past. But it may be the loss of Leo specifically for some of you causing that. But you're either you're not engaging in self-care to the extent you should be, or you're not allowing yourself to have what you want in some way, shape, or form at this time, Taurians. Because this can be like a wish fulfillment card, of course, the Nine of Cups. And when it's reversed, it can be that there's, can almost be that there is a dream dying because it's you that can and would need to let yourself have what you want, Taurians. Can we see all those? Yeah. So let's get a couple of pieces of advice. It looks like while a wish may be blocked or postponed, either blocked altogether because you're not letting yourself have what you want, or postponed for some reason, or like I said, we just see that self-care isn't up to what it should be. At the same time, you've got this fire energy moving in. I'm feeling that for a lot of you, this is your own energy, actually, Taurians, even though this is the Knight of Fire, the Knight of Wands. This can be mystic energy speeding toward enlightenment. So a lot of you Taurians are expanding on your spiritual knowledge at this time, looking into the occult and a particular occult practice. Your knowledge of your own spirituality and mysticism in general seems to be growing, and it is enlightening you in the near future. So we have mystic energy speeding toward enlightenment, and then in the near future we've got the Tower card, which can absolutely be a breakthrough and always offers enlightenment, even if everything sort of has to fall apart and away in order to unearth an enlightening truth that remains beneath all of that chaos and upheaval. And it's normally an unexpected upheaval as well, but like I said, it can just be representing the breakthrough and the enlightenment that it looks like you're already speeding toward currently, already moving toward. And if it's not you, or if it's not just you, then this can be the Knight of Fire, the Knight of Wands here, Taurians, can be like-minded individuals, kindred spirits coming in to help you with this wish fulfillment that seems to be, like I said, blocked altogether or just postponed for some reason. I really am feeling like a lot of it, Taurians, has to do with your own mourning period. And perhaps an Aries energy with the Magician on the bottom of the deck and the Emperor reversed in your other piece of advice. The first piece of advice was the Knight of Swords. We haven't talked about that yet either. So there's Aries energy, there's Leo energy, there's Scorpio energy. But those don't have to necessarily resonate. I wouldn't get hung up on that at all. Of course, as we always say, we all have all the energies in our chart. But if it is an Aries energy, and like I said, the second reading is intended to be the reading that's more focused on your love lives, specifically Taurians. But sometimes they overlap. Sometimes they both end up being love-related messages. So if there is an Aries that you're either mourning or dealing with in some way that like I said, blocks this wish fulfillment of yours, keeps you from either taking care of yourself or keeps you from allowing yourself to have what you want. If it's an Aries energy, I feel like in the advice we're told that they're not, we're not going to see them in the picture anytime soon. It may be that some of you are dealing with the loss in some way, shape, or form of a father figure. Not necessarily, either your father or the father of your children, or just a fatherly figure in your life. Three knights, though. The Knight of Swords, Wands, and Pentacles. So we've got Earth, Air, and Fire energy, all showing as knights here, Taurians. There's a lot of action this month in May during your birthday season. Did I say happy birthday again? I did a Taurus season reading for you already, and I told you happy birthday at that point. So I did a couple, I think, Taurus season readings for you. So, but happy birthday again if I haven't said it. Yeah, there's just a lot of action. Okay, so maybe there is no Aries involved here at all. I do see the fire energy for sure. And I think a lot of you maybe have fire energy in your own chart. But there's just a lot of taking action, and ultimately, by the end of the month, moving into next, you're deciding to, on this path that you're on now, it looks like you're headed toward a decision to keep the progress slow and steady but certain, right? This knight moves slowly, steadily, but he knows he's going to get where he's going, and he does get there. He takes his sweet time. He pays attention to all of the details. He does everything correctly along the way, and so he absolutely reaches his destiny, even if it takes patience and a measured amount of time to get there, probably longer to get there than it would the other knights. What the other knights seem to be representing, though, is, as I said, mystic energy speeding toward enlightenment. One coming directly toward you and your unfulfilled emotions, your unfulfilled self, your unfulfilled self-care, or likely for a lot of you, this unfulfilled wish. So either in terms of, it's either speeding directly toward that unfulfilled wish because it's as I said, it's energies external to you, kindred spirits coming in, making friends, giving you advice, helping you out with creative projects, and this emotional turmoil maybe. But for a lot of you, I really do think it's actually at least also representing your own, as I said, mysticism growing, your own spirituality growing. And it looks like with the other knight that you're looking toward your past, headed toward your past, maybe toward a Leo specifically in your past, but certainly toward a time when you knew what unconditional love was and how powerful unconditional love was. And I don't mean that you don't know now, but a time when you witnessed it, either because you were showing yourself unconditional love, mind, body, and spirit, or maybe were part of a community, a partnership, or just witnessing someone really flourishing at that, displaying what unconditional love looked like when it was unconditional love given to all three: mind, body, and heart and spirit, right? It's normally with the Strength card talking about taming our own desires through that type of unconditional love, and how that is real strength. I was going to say how that is the strongest strength. It's gentle, it's soft, it's easy, and it's loving and it's caring, because it's brave and it's unafraid. There was someone like that in your life, or a time when before this mourning period, when you yourself felt more that way. And so I think you're looking toward how to get back there, how to cultivate that type of unconditional love in your life again, maybe how to manifest that type of unconditional love in your life again. Yeah, maybe trying to manifest yourself a new love or a renewed love, and maybe trying to do so very quickly. Some of you felt like you had it all with someone, and you may have lost them recently, and here you are trying to make a new, or possibly completely different, but I think a new offer to that same energy that you've been mourning, either because you think you're their divine counterpart, or you believe that they are yours, well, divine feminine counterpart, or they're yours, right? And that, the two of you again can really have it all together, that it's karmic, that it's fated. We won't keep digging down in the deck, but from the direction all the cards are facing, I feel like if that's the case, you may not be wrong. However, keep in mind we have the Emperor in reverse here. So if you are divine feminine thinking that this is your divine masculine counterpart, again, even though this isn't the love reading, this is saying, we're either wrong about that, or and I feel like for a lot of you, the ones who are wrong about that, we're going to find out in the near future. This bolt of lightning, this enlightenment that strikes, this breakthrough that gives us new truth, or new truths even. And it may be chaotic. Things may fall apart. People and things may fall away in order to unearth that truth. But again, it may just be the enlightenment itself breaking through. But it will stir things up. It will be unexpected. It will be an upheaval nonetheless. I think for those of us who are wrong about that being our divine masculine, here in the near future, we're going to see that. For others, it's just that, like, they're not present. They're not ready. They're not, frankly, able to give the energy at this time one way or another. That may be the wish that's being unfulfilled. That may be both what's being mourned from the past and the wish that's being unfulfilled currently. And the focus here, is for you to turn toward your spirituality, your past, a time in the past when you witnessed or practiced unconditional love in the way that you obviously need to now, as your mourning and self-care is lacking. And not only that, not only focus on your spirituality and on your unconditional self-care, but on your manifestation. Like I said, it looks like you're trying to call a love in, or an opportunity to share openly with someone or multiple people. An opportunity to communicate and share openly with many or someone significant, right? And that, if that's, work related, work you love to do, it looks like with the Ten of Pentacles underneath there, that very well may be a dream come true and secure wealth and riches. something that makes you a very successful creator and manifester, and it seems that it's a fated opportunity. But again, we're all the way down in the deck again. So yeah, for some of you, it is absolutely communication and work related. And like I said, opportunity to fulfill this wish. I think that's what that communication to either someone significant or many people, lots of open sharing communication. That may be exactly what fulfills that wish. But I definitely think there is a call to action here for you. You need to meditate frequently when we see this Knight of Air here. It's likely that a lot of you are overthinking at this time. Again, like I said, you're very focused on the past, and there's something from the past that you can bring to present that will seriously help your health, mental, emotional, and physical health currently during this mourning period. But you may be focused more so on, this spilt milk, these spilt cups, these losses, people you've had to leave behind, or someone in particular. And I think you need to look at I think you really need to turn around and look at what you have left, because this Tower moment is about to come in, Taurians. And I think we'll leave it at that. But this is what I see. You're coming out of a period of loss and mourning. You're still in need of rest, care, TLC, deep meditation, more frequent meditation. And getting yourself to a healthy enough place that you can take action. You're feeling like you're not in control, like you're not the authority, like you're not the boss. Maybe you are in your work, in your home, in your life, in every way, but you're not feeling like energetic enough or strong enough to call the shots, and you're just sort of letting things happen. Understandable, going through a period of mourning, but I'm saying, we want to look around and see those cups that we have left. We want to see what remains, because more is about to fall away for some of us. For others, like I said, it's just the breakthrough, it's just the enlightenment piece, but oftentimes that truth itself will then cause things to fall away anyway. That's something unexpected that's going to seem like it changes everything, or something very significant is going to happen in the near future here with the Tower card. This is also, like I said, Scorpio energy, Pluto energy, and we've got Pluto retrograde right now. And it seems like a lot of people will be in the coming weeks dealing with these types of unexpected losses and things stripping away that just absolutely have to be for our own growth, development, evolution, right? And there's still this slow, steady, successful progress forward that we see here in the outcome of the situation. The wish is beginning to be fulfilled. But this is slow, steady progress. You're definitely going to get where you're going. It is going to take patience. Some patience here. Precision. Again, attention to detail. Things that we just, naturally want to give to any project that we mean to see through to the end, right, Taurians? Well, we just have to move out of our head a little bit. Look and see what's left before those things are gone as well. Not for everybody. These two cups that are left are not going to be part of what falls away in this Tower movement. But you know, we would need a private personal reading to know for sure for you, for each individual. So I think that's a big part of the message here, is it's really important for you to turn around and pay attention to what you've got to be grateful for still before another Tower moment comes in and changes things again. You may not have any control over that situation. There may be actually a dominant, egoic, masculine, dominating, egoic, masculine figure here who needs to go, who needs to be out of the way, who needs to leave with this Tower moment for some that just came through. I love to end the readings on one little message like that. That's not for everybody, but for someone. And I think we will. I think we will leave it at that, Taurians. Again, advice being frequently meditate. Look back toward to a time in your past when, as I said, you were either showing yourself unconditional love in every way necessary to be totally healthy, or saw someone do it, read about what needed to be done when you really started working on your self-care routine, or admired someone who's you wanted to emulate, right? There is that gem, that jewel in your past to be found that needs to be brought present while you're already staring at the past, right? Here's what you actually need to bring back from it. And it may be, especially if it was a Leo that you're missing, it may be this very same person that you are mourning, that you are missing, that you are trying to call back in, right? It may be this very same person who's already on your mind that you can look to see what kind of unconditional love you need to bring into your present moment. Oftentimes when we miss someone, when we, especially an ex-partner, but anyone, oftentimes when we miss someone's energy, there was something about their energy that we admired and wanted to emulate to begin with, that attracted us to them in some way, shape, or form to begin with, that we hoped to, learn from them, kind of copycat from them. And oftentimes as we're still really, really, really missing them, there are still things about that person that we didn't really learn how to embody ourselves, and it would truly behoove us to. I'm not saying that's the only reason we miss people, of course, but oftentimes that can be a super useful hint as far as what we need, just in terms of bettering ourselves. Not that means, again, that we won't miss them. But there's that, and there's also the advice of, I do think, to release control in the near future when this Tower moment begins to happen. Okay, when the truth breaks, when the breakthrough happens and the enlightenment starts shining through the window, right? When the lightning strikes, and as I said, for some it's going to be chaotic, and lots of things are going to fall apart in this upheaval. Lots of things are going to fall away, or things that are so significant that it may as well be lots of things, right? But either way, it's going to be a shakeup, and when things start to crumble, if that's the case, let them. There's this advice here to release control. We want to get back to a place of utilizing our power and manifesting consciously, yes. But when a moment like this comes in, the multiverse is stripping away things that aren't for us anymore. They may never have been. Revolutionizing our life, and we can just sort of watch it happen. I still think it's important for you to look at what's there before it does, though. And of course, each of you as individuals will know if you feel like that's true for you. And certainly, if there's an egoic, dominating, maybe in particular Aries energy, but just egoic energy in general, that seems to be blocking your wishes, blocking your healing, blocking your forward progress, certainly you've got a lot of healing left to do, a healing that can't be rushed, and that kind of an energy, I would certainly let that fall away with this Tower moment, with this moment of upheaval and chaos in your near future, if they seem to want to. If the multiverse seems to want to take them away in this chaos, I would certainly allow that to happen. from what I see here and feel here from the reading, and allow this to happen too, we may as well say. When you see that the progress is going to be certain, but meticulous, and slower than a lot of people would prefer or choose, we need to allow that to be the case and allow that to happen moving forward as well, Taurians. So, 25 plus minutes in, we're going to move on to your love reading. I hope that insight, the needed insight there, was able to reach most of you. If it didn't resonate with you this time, maybe next month, maybe the love reading will. Maybe check back later in the month, honestly, since we do some predictive work, try to, on this channel. Well, I certainly do. However, the future is in a state of flux. Paths are always changing. We only see a snapshot of the path that you're on now, and often the point to doing the readings and illuminating the past, present, and subsequent future is so that you can edit it and change it and choose the future that looks most exciting or kindest or most comfortable or passionate or creative to you, whatever particular type of experience it is that you're leaning toward building, right? I think we're going to set this aside and just use it as a clarifier deck, Taurians, if that, because the Deviant Moon Tarot is calling to me. But we do have the Queen of Cups on the bottom of the deck as I go to set it down, which reminds me of the mystic energy speeding toward enlightenment that we saw in the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Fire, in your first reading. So some of you may be mystics yourselves, mystics of sorts yourselves, and really advancing in your, as I said, some of your esoteric or occult practices, or in many of them, maybe becoming someone who identifies as a mystic or some related title. Six of Swords is the first card out in your love reading, Taurians. I know we've got Venus moving into Taurus at the end of this month. Not till after the full moon in Scorpio. So that may have been, if you were tuned in for the general reading as well, that may have been the Scorpio energy we saw in the near future, that tower moment, that truth, that enlightenment that came through in your near future for your general reading may be right around that Scorpio full moon. That makes absolute sense. It'll be conjunct with Venus at that time. Right, it'll be that full moon is right after Mars moves into Cancer, but still before Venus moves into Taurus. Mercury's also moving into Taurus this month. I'm sorry, I'm just peeking at my astrological calendar here. I am not an astrologer. Slowly but surely I am picking up little tidbits and starting to learn, and I always make some notes on my calendar. But this month, honestly, as much activity as we have going on this month, Taurians, and even though it's my season and I am a Taurian, something about the energy, maybe just how busy I am, but something about the energy is really pulling me away from delving too much into the astrology. And it's really got me leaning back into just reading almost entirely intuitively, meaning almost entirely ignoring what I know is going on astrologically. But I just wanted to take a peek and see what lined up with what else we said. So I do think that truth and or breakthrough and or upheaval would be something that would happen right around that Scorpio full moon for sure. Some of you are missing a Leo, because we saw the Leo in the root of the situation in the first reading. Here we've got Leo And another fire energy. I think you can see that one a little now. But you are moving toward calmer places. Calmer emotions, calmer mental activity, away from any sort of stress and chaos, tempers in your past. You're just, I think there's something about the whole thing that's just not entirely satisfactory, not feeling satisfying about the whole thing to you, Taurians. Yeah, you're coming off of a confusing time, a time when you had lots of options. There were many roads in front of you and many paths for you to wander down, and a lot of opportunity for you to get and feel lost. Just even just emotionally, mentally confused and lost. But we see this Six of Swords. We see these calmer states of mind. Emerging, yes, but then the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Water, is actually reversed in your near future. Interesting. Some of you may have some significant water, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer in your own chart, or you may be interacting closely with someone, especially regarding your love life, who identifies, or you identify with a water sign. Here it is. Ultimately, Ten of Pentacles reversed. Ultimately, this security, this secure home, yes, but really with the Ten of Pentacles, almost empire, is blocked, at least for some reason. Seems very much linked with the fact that this Queen of Water here is overly emotional or totally numb when she's in reverse. Let's get us a couple pieces of advice. So this may be because you're dealing with a fire sign, again, Aries, Leo, Sag, who's a little younger than you, or just a little more immature, at least, because we have that Page of Fire, that Page of Wands in the root of the situation. Or if not that, there's just a lot of passion for someone, for a relationship with someone, a connection with someone, and moreover, this could also be a message from that person or to that person. I think it was a message from either a fire sign or, again, just someone you felt very fiery and passionate toward. Likely, though, a youthful, energetic, bold character and a personality, let's say. But I feel like the message was from this person to us, Taurians. Certainly does resonate with me, actually, come to think of it as I'm saying it. And it confused us. Made us feel like we had options, but gave us room to, as I said before, kind of get lost. And I think it looks like a lot of us, instead of getting lost within ourselves, decided to get lost from the situation, as in move away from it. You know, that may have been passionate, but again, emotionally confusing. And we have this fire in the background here that I always notice, the Six of Swords, which always makes me say, you know, not only just moving toward calmer mental and emotional states, but probably away from something that felt at least stressful, if not chaotic, and maybe even temper-filled. Now, again, if it was a Leo, I think that's what you're seeing here is with the Sun reversed. And of course I hear ain't no sunshine when she's gone. So for some it is specifically Leo, but for others it's just your masculine, since it's the sun, or your sunshine, or you know, whom made you happy, missing from the picture, in spite of the fact that things are getting calmer mentally and emotionally. Presently, but I was just listening to the Astrology School's podcast on May 2019's astrology, and I was just hearing that Scorpio full moon that showed up, I think, in the near future of your first reading, that weekend, with Mars moving into Cancer on soon before anyway, I'm not sure the exact date, but with Mars moving into Cancer soon before, and then the full moon in Scorpio on the 18th, and some note that I've made here about that activity being fairly close to when Venus does transit into Taurus. There's something about all of the activity, and there is a lot of activity. You know, we've also got Saturn retrograde, like I said, Pluto's retrograde, more going on astrologically than I can get into or even completely understand. But that weekend, that full moon in Scorpio, I did hear them say that it would be a dramatic weekend. If you're interested in the astrology, I love watching the Astrology School's podcast. That's a great place to get specific, detailed information and their opinions. But that's what they said, a dramatic weekend. And it certainly looks like the case for us. Now, this is just the path that we're on right now, Taurian. So, like we said earlier, that's why we're doing what we're doing here. We can start to edit this, hopefully. But, yeah, things feel good right now. Things feel good right now. Here we go. Moving away from stress, calmer mental and emotional state. There was some confusion. There's been some passion. There's been some excitement. There's been some enthusiasm. There's been some confusion. There are some options. But you know what? We're just going to deep breath and glide toward a calmer, more relaxing, peaceful vacation-like state and place, right? Maybe literally going on vacation for some of you at this time of year. And yet, we know that there's something missing. Maybe part of ourselves. Maybe we're just feeling inauthentic because we're trying to act like everything's okay, but we're still hurting or something. But the loss that I'm thinking of is really coming from the first reading. Here we see confusion, the possibility to get lost. But it's not necessarily like a feeling of dismay for all of us. There is at least, though, this feeling of someone being a little inauthentic, maybe even prideful. Are some of you Taurians moving away from a situation out of pride? Perhaps that would be for very few. It's just something that just came through, but this is authenticity, upright, and self-actualization, and individualization, and true joy, right? So reversed, there could just be some of your own authenticity missing from the picture at present. It can just be that you have been in the spotlight or under a spotlight in some sense with this romantic love situation with this other person, and you want out of it, and you're moving away from that. You're wanting out of it. I think for a lot, though, it has to do with missing someone that brought us joy, a state of being that did bring us joy. It looks like it brought us passion, but also confusion. It must be a need to move away from it, but we're lacking some joyful energy here because of it. And I really see that as the case, because it's leading us directly toward just busting out crying, breaking down because we're so overwhelmed with our emotions, or swallowing them up and refusing to feel because it's so intense. And we have to be careful with this. This is why I said hopefully we can change this in the near future, especially if it's around the full moon. Oh, guys, I hate to give this message again and again, but be careful about drinking around the full moon. I'm not saying don't, and I'm not saying don't have fun. Hell, I'm not saying don't be wild and crazy, but be careful. Be careful. Who are you with? How much are you drinking? Yada, yada, yada. All the mom advice, you know it already. I'm not going to, but I see it. I have to, because it's loud on the table, because the Seven of Cups, that type of confusion is, and I almost said, a place where it's really easy for people to get lost, because it can be so confusing that we turn to, and can often represent solely the fact that someone has turned to. This card can. Alcohol, drugs, or just getting lost in fantasy, maybe a substance, maybe, any type of addiction, any type of escapism, in order to make a conscious choice to avoid reality, really. So we want to be careful about that. If that's the type of place we were already in and already moving away from, and then in the near future we realize how bad it hurts that our joy is missing, then again, it's going to take us either to overflowing with emotions, breaking down, or going numb. And either way, people turn to, again, substances, especially alcohol, is what I feel coming through, is what I really see. And that, especially if that's around the full moon, because that just seems like a perfect storm that I see just yelling at me from the table. It just seems nighttime, evening of the full moon. It just seems very blatant, very clear, so I can't not say it. But that leads us directly toward an insecure state. Maybe literally spending too much money out drinking on that evening is quite possible. But yeah, also just an insecure state. 1 second. All right, Taurus, I had to pause and go ahead and pull your advice. I'm sorry to do it that way, but I'm running out of space. You need to be honest with someone, maybe yourself. It's going to be hard. It's hard to carry this truth and know this truth, let alone deliver it and own it. But that is the advice here. That's what needs to happen about this person, yourself, the situation. There's something that you know or see, and you're holding back being honest with them or yourself, and it has to happen. This is actually a victory. Even though it takes you to this very fragile state. And you have to be careful there, because it can make you irrational, paranoid, overwhelmed, lost in your emotion, weak, being extra to your friends. It can lead to a lot of things. It doesn't mean that's how you're acting or necessarily will be, but it puts you on the same spectrum with someone who does behave that way. So we have to be really careful and try to avoid that. And I think that this moon showing up is not only saying that everything is not as it seems currently, because things aren't going to be quite as calm in the near future as they feel like they are now. But I think it's also reminding us of that full moon, and that warning of being careful around the full moon that I just gave you already. Also, in general, this entire situation is and can be a victory, but a humbling one. It's not going to be easy, but we don't have to have this insecurity in the outcome of the situation by the end of the month, moving into next, if we can curb the fragility, the way we handle the emotional overload that the situation gives us here in the near future. And if you want to get more specific about how you can change that path, or how this resonates with you, scroll down to the description below. Check out the options for private readings. My email is LunarticksTarot@gmail.com. There's also the Queen of Wands on the bottom of the deck, so especially if this is a fire sign, I think this is someone whose qualities, as we said in the first reading, you are wanting to emulate. That's why they're on your mind so much. You admire them. You wanted these qualities of theirs to be something that you could almost copycat, again, is how I said it last time. So You may want to look back and see what it is that you in particular admired about someone who may be missing from the picture now, and how you can live up to that, embody those qualities that you admired most. Sorry to rush you out for the ending to be so quick, Taurians, but thank you all for your support. I love you. Make wise choices for yourself moving forward, and I'll post another reading for us very soon.